Record the computer.
Not today.
Hi, everybody. This is Barbara Drazga, a.k.a. the Deal Diva. Tonight, we're here with Jeff Cohen from Seller Labs. I'm going to start with my little story tonight. And first, I want to welcome you to the Deal Diva Happy Hour, the impromptu, not planned. Hey, if one of you guys knows how to get me a wine glass with my Deal Diva logo on it, I would be really appreciative. What print on demand does wine glasses? So I can get my logo on it, because the coffee cup, there's water in it, but, you know, not always, especially not during a happy hour. So I go outside today. I'm in Arizona, and we had this huge storm last night, and this lovely little old lady across the street, Janice, she comes over and she goes, Barbara, my lemon tree just got demolished. There were branches everywhere, and the neighbors were helping her pick up, and just she wants some lemons. I'm like, yeah, it has to be great. She goes, I'll bring a bag over.
Holy lemon.
You think? I couldn't believe, seriously, I guess there's a name for these colossal lemons or whatever. I was like, man, what radioactive material do you put at the base of this tree? This thing is ginormous. So it got me to thinking, there's a tie-in to this webinar. It got me thinking about how we can supersize our listings, supersize the amount of traffic we get to our listings, and supersize not just the traffic, but converting that traffic to more sales. So you like how I took that internet is out for the day, but I have lemons, and I'm going to tie this into the webinar, and everybody's going to be happy. How's that?
I'm ready to make some lemonade.
Awesome. Let's do it. So I'm going to put my glasses on here so I can read my little notes. So topic recap. I just wanted to put this up on the screen to remind everybody. Let me see. Share screen. Remind. Here we go. Share screen. Remind everybody what we're talking about tonight. Tonight we are talking about Amazon keyword research secrets. Spy on your competition, find profitable niches, and increase your organic sales, among other things. And we have our guest speaker tonight. It's not that formal. I'm just hanging out with my buddy, my new buddy. Don't know him that well to call him buddy, but I'm just, you know, kind of going for it. My new buddy, Jeff Cohen from Seller Labs, and he is the guy to talk to. He's the one who's going to do this training because he knows infinitely more than I do about keyword research secrets. I know a bit, and I play with keywords, and I love doing keyword research and product research, but he's like the whole another level. So just a reminder, tonight we're talking about Amazon keyword research secrets with Jeff Cohen. Jeff, you look confused.
I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to do something on my computer to make sure that it's all going to work right when we jump between screens here. So that's but we'll figure it out.
There's a share button down at the bottom. It says share screen, and if you click on that, when you're talking, I'll shut up, and the screen will be yours, and you can click
Awesome.
share. It allows you to choose the screen. I'm still playing around with Zoom a little bit too, but you know what? It happens. This is real life. This is live. There's no editing. I think you guys like me that way, though, right?
Yeah, you know, it's the authenticity.
Yeah, I can't fake. I can't fake this. So who am I? Some of you already know me. I'm Barbara Drazga, a.k.a. the Deal Diva. I did not give myself that nickname. I buy a lot at auctions. You guys know that, and have for many years. And I have a system for buying at auctions, and I have ways to get around other bidders to win the bid. Got a whole strategy, and there was one guy at an auction who I kept beating him out of his bids with a smile on my face, but he didn't like it, and he turned around one day and he said, not complimentarily, whatever, you're just a deal diva, aren't you? And I was like, ooh, I like that. I think I'm going to go with that. So that's how I got the moniker, the Deal Diva, because I'm really good at finding deals. I find liquidation deals. I bought out whole stores. These deals just fall into my lap. I'm really good at networking with people who come to me and say, I need help with this product I need to get rid of. Here, help me out. Take it. So that's how I got the moniker Deal Diva, hence my group. If you're not in it yet, go to facebook.com/groups/Deal Diva, and we talk about everything online marketing. Hi, Megan. Everything online marketing. I'm a full-time self-employed entrepreneur. I am unemployable. I've been self-employed. I couldn't have a real job. I mean, commute to a job to get there at a certain time. Are you kidding? It's just not me. I haven't had a real job in decades, 3 decades, something like that. Yeah, maybe 2.5 decades. So I'm full-time, and I'm a full-time Amazon seller. My focus on sourcing is wholesale and private label. In fact, I am making a trip to Hong Kong. I just got my flight Friday. I'm going to Hong Kong for 10 days in April. I'm so stoked about it, to explore product opportunities, market opportunities, suppliers, maybe meet with some factories. I don't know yet. Only a portion of the trip is planned. There's 4 trade shows I'm going to, but I've left 3 extra days in there for happenstance. 4 days for happenstance, just to go with the flow and see what happens. So Hong Kong, here I come. So you're going to hear more about me. I know you guys have heard a lot about wholesale from me. Go to dealdivawholesale.com, and I've got some videos up there, and I've got articles I write on my take on market research and wholesale. And I'm going to be posting stuff about private label as soon as I start learning it. So, well, I do kind of poor man's private label. I do bundling. So I'll find products that have a complementary product. I'll order the complementary product from China, put it together, create a bundle, but in really niche markets. And usually B2B markets. I'm not so much into seasonal bundles. I don't do a whole lot of like Easter bundles and Valentine's, because I don't want to get stuck with, not that there's anything wrong with that, because you can make really good money. I just like to move things fast and have a consistent income monthly, regardless of what month of the year it is. So it's just my approach to my business. So anyway, so that's who I am. I'm Barbara Drazga. Go check out dealdivawholesale.com, and you can download, I've got a free guide to getting started in wholesale. You can download that there. Yeah, so let's start with supersizing our listings tonight, right, with my ginormous lemon. Jeff Cohen. Now, I barely just met Jeff Cohen. I bought a tool about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I started doing research on how can I improve my listings. Right before LTS, right before the long-term storage fees hit, about a week before, I'm like, man, I don't want to take this stuff back. It's bad that a lot of my stuff has been there too long. I'm doing something, maybe I could do it better. I don't want to say wrong, but I could do better. So I started looking into improving my listings overall. And part of that, of course, was doing better keyword research and then tweaking everything about my listings in terms of the better keywords that I found. So in my research, I run across this gentleman. Am I pointing to the right way? I run across this gentleman, that way, right? Jeff Cohen from Seller Labs. And he's got this program, this tool, this service called Scope, like the mouthwash. I'll come up with some, I'll tie that in, mouthwash. I will, I'll tie it in.
And the color for the product is green, so that's kind of funny. I never thought of that.
That is, okay. I didn't notice that, but we put it together.
Subliminal.
Subliminal, yeah. We'll have minty fresh breath and make more sales. So anyway, I run across this tool and I start digging into it. I'm like, well, this is crazy. This is crazy. I just scraped all of the keywords off of one listing of a competitor that told me everything he was converting and ranking on. Now, I'm going to pass it to Jeff in a second because he's going to say a lot better than I am. I'm just telling you my newbie perspective, not knowing anything. I install this tool, I hit a button, and suddenly this tool tells me what keywords he's got in his listing and which ones are working the best for him. And I, boom, copy paste it into my listing. And within 2 days, it takes, I guess, a little bit of time for Amazon's to update the listing, half an hour or so. But within a couple of days, I paid for the tool. Easy peasy. One listing, because my sales ticked up. And I didn't have to take as much. And then, of course, I did it on all of the other listings that I was going to bring back for LTS. So I didn't have to bring as much stuff back. So long-term storage fees were a whole lot less for me because of this experiment. So I corralled Jeff, who's really, really, really busy. I know you had that thing today, that whole, I know you had an online event or something today. I thought you did.
Yep. Yeah, the virtual summit. Yeah. Yeah,
I was on one of those about optimizing listings, in fact, that the one at noon. So anyway, Jeff's the dude. He has graciously accepted our invitation tonight to talk to us about how we can optimize our listings, make more sales, be more successful in business as Amazon sellers. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jeff Cohen from Seller Labs. Jeff, tell us who you are, why we should listen to you, and well, it's true. You've got to earn the right. We like you. You're a good guy, but we want to know, there are a lot of people out there who, they're selling online for all of 60 days and decide that they're going to put the guru moniker on themselves and and try to sell us something. Well, you're not one of those guys. So
thanks for the challenge. Thanks for the challenge. I gracefully accept.
Boom, bring it on.
Yeah. So before I get started and kind of tell you guys about me, I'd like to learn a little bit about you. So we've got quite a few people on here. Thanks, Nick, for attending the summit today. I can find the URL and share that if anybody wants to sign up for the summit. It's a 3-day summit. So today was optimizing your listing. Tomorrow is what's called price wars. So it's really kind of how do you win listings with price when you're fighting for the buy box. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be doing one on sponsored product ads and driving sales velocity to your product. So how many people on this webinar have ever heard me speak before? Either, so this is where you have to get interactive. And if you've seen me speak before, say, I have in the chat box at a conference, on a webinar, anything like that. So if anyone has seen me, oh yeah, I heard you speak and got a t-shirt. Awesome, Jim.
What? I didn't get a t-shirt. What's up?
Yeah, I actually don't. I'm traveling, so I don't even have my t-shirt on, but normally I wear a t-shirt on all my shows that say famous on Amazon.
Oh, so, I have seen you.
Yeah, that's me.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Hey, before we go any further, can you tell us if there's a replay to? I was taking notes like crazy.
Yes. Today, all of virtual summit.
Huge. Thank you.
You will get a replay of the virtual summit. So, and how about this? We will randomly select. And Barbara, you don't have to select yourself. I'll get you one too. But you can randomly select one person tonight to get a T-shirt. And we'll mail a shirt out to somebody, but you have to participate in the chat. So if you don't participate in the chat, you don't have a chance to win. So
I love it.
That's awesome. For those that have seen me, Dan and Dawn, Jim and Ada, I really hope that I can bring you guys something new. Jason heard me on a podcast. Yeah, I do a lot of podcasts. So yeah, Barb, I've been around for just a few more than 6 months. I actually think that I'm about my 4 or 5 year mark in the online selling space. But I actually go back in e-commerce. I started my first internet retail site in 2007. I was the general manager and founder of a site called textbooks.com, where I started a retail textbook website in the mid 2000s, back in the stone age of the internet. Got into really kind of understanding the retail side. And then I kind of stumbled into the affiliate side of the world. I ran a website called campusbooks.com. And I had the pleasure at Campus Books of meeting Brandon Checketts, who's one of the founders of Seller Labs. Brandon was actually my employee. And then Brandon started purchasing products at USPS auctions. So this is actually a really cool story for people that have been around for a while. The USPS, you remember them? They used to drive to your house and give you mail every day when we would send each other letters. Anything that fell off the truck went to a warehouse in Atlanta. And then once a week, they would have a auction. And you would come and you would kind of sift through all the stuff. And you could only look. You couldn't touch. And then you would go in and it was live auction. They had an auctioneer and all of that. And we started off buying books, and then we started buying electronics, and then we bought jewelry, we bought gems, we bought we bought a closeout liquidation of a sporting good company, 54 pallets of sporting good products. At one point, we had about a 15,000 square foot warehouse, and we were writing all of our own code to build our own systems because we were FBA in some stuff, but FBA was really early back then. We were warehousing our own stuff because a lot of books you made books on selling volume, and you actually made books on the shipping. You didn't make books on the sale of the book. And so we ran into this problem. And the problem was that you would list a book and you would say, oh, torn cover, water damage, coffee spot. And then somebody would get the book and they'd give you a bad seller rating. And they'd say, well, this book has a torn cover. And you're like, yeah, I know, I told you that. And the problem we had was that we needed to get the people who bought our good books to write us reviews because the people who had bad books were writing them. And so we created a software. It was called Feedback Genius. It was created for us for internal use. And Feedback Genius was really kind of how we grew our business, because we were able to grow our seller rating, get more sales. We went to a conference to see kind of what other software was in the space. And what we found was that we had actually created better software internally than what was being sold. This was back in like 2012, 2013. So it was a really early day of internet software. I mean, it's weird to think that like 5 years ago, there weren't a lot of software in this space. And that's really where we started to transition Feedback Genius. And so Feedback Genius, works with thousands and thousands of customers. It helps those customers get seller feedback, customer service, and product reviews. And that was kind of the spawn of us growing Seller Labs. And we closed down our physical warehouse because we really kind of liked being computer geeks. And we really focused on building a software company. And so here we are 4 years later. Our company is based in Athens, Georgia. We have around 30 employees. Most of them are all based in Athens. We do have a couple scattered throughout the US, but we're all US based. We now have 5 applications, many of which are probably new to a lot of people, but Feedback Genius, if you're a user of Feedback Genius, go ahead and let us know in the chat. We have another product called Snagshout. Snagshout is a product sales velocity tool for driving sales to your product. We have Scope, which we're going to see today. We have a data analytic tool called Quantify. And then we have a brand new tool, which is actually just now being released, that's going to be for PPC, automated PPC management, called Ignite. And so we're really excited. 2017 is going to be a really exciting year for Seller Labs. But enough about me. Let's talk about making lemonade. You started this, so I'm just going to continue it.
I totally did. For those of you who haven't seen my lemon on steroids, it's real. This is not an optical illusion.
All right, let's share this. And we should be good to go.
So does everybody see Jeff's screen? Go ahead and put a big yes in the chats if you can see his screen with Scope on it. Can you see his computer screen? Good job. Okay, thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right. I'll let you kind of run the chat so I can kind of run the screen. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a slideshow here, but okay, so here's a little bit about us and about Scope. So I already told you about me, so we'll kind of skip that. I told you a little bit about Seller Labs, but we work with around 15,000 active Amazon sellers. In 2016, we did $7 billion, or our sellers did $7 billion. So I think that qualifies me to be a little bit more than a 6-month guru, but I'll leave that up to you guys. We can all vote for that at the end. See if I actually bring you some value. Seller Labs is not a pitch company, but I like to be open and honest when I talk to people and I'm actually like selling, right? So I like to say this is a sales pitch, and I'm on here today to earn your business and to earn your trust, and be totally honest. Like, my goal is to sell you guys software, and the best way for me to do that is to teach you, to show you the value of it, and then to ask you for your trust in using our software. And so hopefully I'll do that today, but I like to be open and honest because that's just the way my mom raised me, and I'm a Midwest boy. So, but there's a little bit more, because you're going to, as Barb kind of alluded to, I'm going to teach you how to uncover top ranking keywords. I'm going to show you how to maximize your back-end keywords. I'm going to show you some case studies of people who have actually done this. Obviously, Barb is one of them. And we're going to talk a little bit about leveraging keywords in PPC campaigns. Now, Barb is recording all of this. If you do choose to purchase Scope, all of the demos that I'm showing you are actually videos that we've made available, so that you don't have to like dig through this 30, 60-minute presentation. I'll show you the 3 to 4 minute video, specifically how to do each of the tasks that I'm showing.
Oh, and another thing that happened when I signed up for Scope was right away I started getting emails. You've got these lessons that came in every single day, little bite-sized chunks that I could go try out and play with, and that was really helpful. I wanted to tell you that as a new user of Scope. And
awesome.
then The other thing I wanted to say is, you heard how Jeff said, he's very transparent and said that he's going to offer you a software, but not at full price.
Oh, we'll get to that.
I made him agree to give you guys a discount, a Deal Diva discount. So hang on the webinar, take a lot of notes, soak up the information. But this is a partnership here. He's got the information, but I'm an advocate for you guys to make sure that you get a discount. So you're not just gonna get retail price, you're gonna get a Deal Diva discount. So anyway, go ahead, Jeff. Just had to throw that in there.
All right, I'm just checking out what the chat box says. All right, so before we talk about understanding how to optimize our listing, I want to make sure we all understand how search works, and this is really important. And a search engine, and Amazon is the single largest shopping search engine, right? It's the #3 search engine in the US. So Google is #1, YouTube is #2, and Amazon is #3. It's the #1 shopping search engine. And so you have to remember that as a search engine, its job is to crawl and index all of its pages, identify keywords, and then give you the best result for the keyword that you're looking for. And what that means is that if you have a poor listing, you get poor search. And so I want to make sure we differentiate that we are optimizing our listing right now to appear in more search. Step 2, which I'm not really covering within this, is that you want to optimize your listing for conversion. And things that you want to do to optimize for search are slightly different than things you want to do to optimize for conversion. The biggest is that when you're optimizing for conversion, you want to make sure it's readable, the customer understands it. So we'll talk about it a little bit, but understand the goal of what we're doing is to get your products to show up for more search terms. More search terms means more eyeballs means more potential sales.
Jeff, I'd like to interrupt there a little bit. Some people might not understand what you mean by conversion. It means converting somebody who's landed on your listing into a buyer. That's all conversion means. So getting traffic to a website or a listing, you can put a ton of traffic on there and nobody buys anything, right? So you want to go for the traffic plus the conversion. Does that make sense?
Yep. Makes sense to me.
I just know I have a lot of users here. You're used to talking about this topic, so there might be some terms you throw out that I know I have some newbies in here. So if you're okay with me talking.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, or throw it in chat and give us a heads up that we just said something that doesn't make sense. So this is an example that I'm going to use, and I'm going to try to use this example all night tonight. Not all night, but at least for the time that we're together in this webinar. And this is what I call a poor listing. And so if you see, like, we're talking about what I call features. Stainless steel blade is a feature. Ergonomic comfort, non-slip grip is a feature. Easy handling, that's a benefit, okay? And so when you're talking about how to sell your product, you want to talk in features and benefits. So hand washing recommended, what does that tell the search engine? Does anybody ever go to Amazon and type in hand wash wedger? No. And so there's not a lot of keywords that I'm really putting into my listing to tell Amazon what my product is. And we're going to get into this, and I'm going to show you this in a lot more detail. But if you have a good listing, that equals good search. And so here's kind of an example of a good listing. And, I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. See the beauty of live, right? So here we're telling Amazon a lot more about our products. So now we don't have a fruit core and wedger. We have an apple slicer, wedger, cutter, core, rubber grip handle, stainless steel blade, right? By the name of the brand. And so I'm giving Amazon a lot more keywords about my product than I am here. So the number of keywords that I'm going to show up for when somebody searches is going to be greatly improved. And I'm going to show you how this all works. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar, take this away. If you do not tell Amazon what your product does, it will never rank for the product. Amazon is not going to guess that your apple slicer can also cut pears unless you tell it that it cuts apples and pears. It's not going to just guess that this product can do both. So how can our tool Scope solve this problem? Well, I'm really glad you asked. Let's take a look here and see. Are my little videos, do they hide my screen?
No, I just see watch list, conduct Amazon product research. I don't see a video.
Awesome. Great. I'm glad it's not blocking my screen. Okay, so we're in the Scope application, but I'm actually not going to start at the Scope application. I'm going to start on Amazon because I think that is where most of us spend our day. And Scope on Amazon is accessed through what's called a Chrome extension. So up here at the top corner, you can see this little beaker. And if you're not familiar with Chrome extensions, you can do a Chrome Seller Labs. And you're going to see here where it says Scope by Seller Labs Chrome Web Store. And this is where you'll download, and you can see mine's already added, but this is where you're going to download and you're going to add it to Chrome. Okay. Once you click on this, it's going to add it to your bar, and it's going to ask you to register your account with Seller Labs. You go to Seller Labs and you register your account. And if you have the paid version, you'll see everything that we're showing today. If you choose the free version, you'll be limited in some of the data that you're seeing. So we do have a free version that will give you some of the content that's in here, but it's not going to be everything that you see. So that's kind of how the Chrome extension works. So once you have the Chrome extension and you're on your listing, you can see in the bottom corner it says Show Scope. And this is the listing that we looked at that we said was a bad listing. It's a fruit core and wedger. And when I pull open Scope, I'm going to see some information about my product. And I can actually see this information about any product that I have within the system. So I can see my price fee calculator. And so if I happen to know that this product costs me $1, I can actually calculate my profitability, right? I have my Aysen in my category, my sales rank, number of reviews, so some of the information from the page. And then based on the sales rank, we can estimate the number of sales per day and the total number of sales over a 30-day time period, calculating your estimated revenue and your estimated profit from your product. So this is kind of where the product research side of Scope comes in. If you're looking at a product, you can also look at the history where you can see how its sales rank has done over time. So we can actually see that it's been falling off. The sales rank has been dropping. They probably were running some kind of promotion. We can see that their price has actually been increasing, right? So they were selling this for $7, but now they're selling it for more. And so we can get a little bit of information right here about this product. You can also see right here that I've chosen to watch this product, which means I'm going to get more data. But the real value of Scope, and this is where Barb was talking, was in how we do what's called a reverse Aysen lookup. And so what we're able to do for this product is we're able to determine what keywords this product is currently ranking for. And that's the list of 61 keywords that you see here. Now, these 61 keywords are all ranked by score. And score is a relative term that is between 1 and 100 that tells you the overall strength of a particular keyword. So this keyword, this product, the best keyword is an apple slicer. And so what I'm going to say, if I'm the owner of this product, I'm going to say, wait a minute, apple slicer. Now I'm ranking because I have the word apple and slicer somewhere in my listing, but I'm not ranking really well. And as a top scoring keyword, I really want to drive this keyword into my title to make my title more relevant for Amazon. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to really worry about my keywords. I want to go look at my competitors' keywords. So I'm going to click on the word apple slicer. And what this is doing now, I'll hide this for a second, is it's doing a search for the term apple slicer. It's showing me all 5,316 results. And if I open up Scope now, I'm seeing my information, and I can choose which products I want to watch. I can see the title and the brand and the keyword. I can see the price and the rank, and I can, again, estimated sales and revenue, number of reviews, and number of sellers. And I can actually, the price is still downloading, but a little download button is going to come here if I want to download this data and use it for anything. But what I'm really interested in is my competitors. So you can see that I've chosen to start watching my top 5 competitors, and I want to go into my competitors listing, because what I want to know is what they're number 1. And remember, we made an assumption early on that Amazon is going to rank products for keywords that are driving sales. Therefore, this product is ranking really well for Apple Slicer because it's driving sales for Apple Slicer. And so I want to understand what they're doing right in their listing that I'm doing wrong. So now I'm going to open up Scope, and now I don't see 61, I see 409 keywords. These are the keywords that I want to use to truly understand how my product is doing and what the potential for keywords are for my product. So what I'm going to do is click this button, the keyword CSV, and I'm going to download the file. I already did this. Kind of helps with webinars to pre-do some of this stuff. And I'm going to put this information into Excel, and this is where it gets a little technical. So we have some walkthroughs on how to do this. But what I want to do is I want to start by actually looking at my backend keywords, my 5,000 backend keywords. And through Excel, what I'm able to do is I come into here and I go data, and there's a file called text to column. And this is going to actually break all of these keywords into individual words. Because on my backend keywords, Amazon only cares about the actual words. They don't care about the phrases. So I don't have to call it an apple slicer. I just need the word apple, and I need the word slicer. And to speed things up, I'm just going to do this for one column. But what you do is just repeat this process. And you want to put about 5 products into one listing. And when you put about 5 products into one listing, you'll get more than enough keywords that you need. And so you copy them all down into one big list. And then what you do is you tap on, let me just delete these. We don't need them right now. You click remove duplicates, and this is going to remove, see how we have the word best and best? When I remove duplicates, now I have all unique keywords. And I simply take these keywords and I copy and paste them into the back end of my listing. Now, I'm going to guess that some of you have never seen the back end of a listing before, if some of you are kind of newer. So I'm going to take a second and show you guys the back end of a listing.
Now, while you're doing that, Jeff, can you explain, I was putting commas between my keywords, and then I watched that, the thing that you guys did today, and it said you just need spaces now, or what's the best way to?
Yeah, so I had a conversation with a guy today who, he's a really good friend of mine, and him and I were talking about that very specific piece. And what he told me was that he had a customer who was putting commas in there, and he removed all the commas, and like 2 hours later, his sponsored product ads and his listing increased. So each comma actually counts as an extra space. And so you actually don't need anything but a space, and you want to remove commas because you don't want to give up extra characters.
I can't wait to go tweak a bunch of listings tonight.
Yeah.
I almost want to leave the webinar and go to work, but no, I won't do that. I really can't wait to change stuff up, my listings now.
So in your listing, you have your product name, right? So this is where you want to optimize your title, and you have your back-end search terms. So in descriptions, let's see here. Actually, I get confused where all this stuff is. Oh wait, this is a multivariate listing, so it's in a different place. So these are my back-end search terms, and I have them all listed right here. I don't know, my list. This listings. I actually could probably fix this listing right now because I have a couple of these listings. But I just literally take my keywords. These are all my keywords. I copy them. I paste, and you can see that it actually. And then I want to just keep repeating that until all of these are done. And then I want to hit save and finish.
You're using foreign language keywords.
Yeah, no, this listing is, I'm in the wrong listing. That's my problem. I think I'm in a different account right now, but because it's not coming up correctly. That's what happens when you go on. That's what happens when you go on the fly. I do actually use foreign language keywords. And the best way to use foreign language keywords, one of the great examples that I use, I'll actually show you. This is actually, I'll probably not spell this correctly, but
German, I can help you.
Yeah, well, when you're in, so okay, so you see this one down here, Harry Potter baguette,
yep.
Right? So like, if you've seen this before, don't guess, but if you know what a Harry Potter baguette is, go ahead and post it in the chat box. Anybody?
Not a lot of Harry Potter fans in here.
No, not a lot of Harry Potter fans.
That's not.
Yes, bread. Yes, you are correct. No, you're not. It's not bread. A Harry Potter baguette is a wand. So
the wand?
It's a wand. So the word baguette in French is wand.
Okay.
And so
look at that.
Yeah. And so if you actually look up, so I've never actually done this. This is totally live demo. Let's see what happens, right? So let's look at scope for this keyword, for this product, and see if Harry Potter baguette shows up. I don't know if it will. But this is a great way to find foreign language keywords, because if I actually start watching the term Harry Potter baguette, then I'm going to, I would actually find all these additional keywords that are French, because there are other ways that people are searching for my keywords. So I've got 183 keywords, and it's probably a low volume, but that's a great way to find. Scope is a great way to find this. And if you look at enough of your competitive terms, you'll actually start to find these French and Spanish words that are making.
Well, German, I noticed when you typed in Harry Potter, one of the predictive search items that popped down was backpack. And a lot of people search for backpack with the term Rucksack, which in German is a Rucksack. That's a German word for backpack, but a lot of English speakers will call a backpack a rucksack.
Yep, right there.
There it is. So thanks for the idea. And then when school system, I'm starting to place orders for my back to school stuff. So and a lot of it's going to be backpacks. It never occurred to me to use the word rucksack.
Yeah, no, this is a really bad listing, right? Because like these guys aren't even using the word backpack. So like these guys could totally handle a product listing. This is where you go.
I'm sorry, Jeff. If any of you wholesalers are in there, you guys are taking the TWF wholesale course through me. You want to go to these listings that are just terrible but have a lot of potential, and you can use what you're learning in the wholesale formula course in conjunction with the scope tool, and go approach the supplier of this particular backpack and make sure that you're approved for the brand, and negotiate a deal with the supplier with your added value proposition, right? See how it all ties in? Okay, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'm actually going to show you guys how one of our customers has actually used this to set their wholesale listing on fire. So we'll definitely show that. So we just took all these keywords, we just added these to our back end. We just started updating our listing. We're going to replace that, and we're going to repeat that numerous times with our competitors' products, and we're going to use our competitors' products to come up with all these keywords that we're not using. And I'll give you an example that one of our customers did. And I'm not going to share the product because that's not important. But he had a product that had a very high profit margin, and he was generating like 0 sales a day. He had the product on Amazon for probably about 2 months. He had ran some PPC and had some early success, but his rank got high, and he was doing really bad. And he really called me up and said, hey, what can I do? I need some help. And I walked him through this exact same process. We didn't even work on optimizing the title and the bullet points and some of the other. We just optimized the back-end keywords. And he was able to generate overnight 2 sales a day on his product. Now you say to me, 2 sales a day, what's the big deal? Well, his profit margin per product was $80 a unit. So he went on a product that had an $80 per unit profit. He went from 0 sales a day to 2 sales a day. That's $160 a day of profit. That's a pretty nice monthly sales figure. Then once he started generating the sales, he used Feedback Genius. He got reviews. Once he got reviews, he started rerunning his PPC campaigns. And now his PPC campaigns are doing a lot better. So I'm going to take a second here and just check and see if we have any questions before we jump into. Okay, so Dan wants to know what makes a great listing. Dan, that's a really good question. A great listing is optimized for search and for conversion. And so that means that you're optimizing with keywords that are relevant to your product, but you're also using keywords that are going to drive long tail traffic to your listing.
Does everybody understand what long tail means?
So long tail means an apple slicer is not long tail, but an apple slicer and core is long tail. So the longer the word gets, the less traffic that will search for it. But think of every one of those terms as one potential sale, extra sale a month. And if I can rank for 800 keywords and you can rank for 50 keywords, yes, conventional wisdom says if my top keyword's better than your top keyword, I'll get more sales. But you also have this, what they call long tail game, which means that if I can actually get the long tail keywords to rank, I can pick up some extra sales, and there's no cost. So why do you not want to be part of that? And the way people search is not how we all think they search. People actually search to type in as much information as they can. So, and this is the best way to check it, right? So apple slicer and core, and you see I'm still getting peeler. Right? So now it's not going any longer than that, but that's a pretty long tail keyword. And as people see those suggestions, they think to themselves, oh, I want an apple slicer that's also a core and a peeler. I don't know what the heck the difference is between all of those, but I want that. And so you want to rank for that term. And if you don't include the word peeler in your listing, but you just put apple slicer and core, then all of a sudden, whether anyone ever lands on this page or not, you're not going to show up. But they might also actually type in an apple core. And oh, look at that. The next one that comes up, slicer peeler, remover, peeler, stainless steel. So you have to have all of these terms in your listings. And this is the old way of doing it, right? This is how we used to teach people to do it, is you literally sat here and you said, okay, that was apple core, now apple slicer. Apple slicer 12 because I have 12 pieces. Oh, I need to add the word blade. And you just kept adding these words and adding these words. But the beauty is that our competition is already ranking for these terms. So let's go and let's use their listing for us to optimize our listing. So hopefully that kind of helps Dan explain what makes a great listing. I'm also going to say that photos are very, very important in what makes a good listing.
Dan also asked earlier, can you edit the listing if you didn't write the original listing?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to depend, like everything on Amazon, it's going to depend on who owns the listing. So my product, I have what's called brand registry, which means I've registered my brand with Amazon to tell them that I own the product. That means that Amazon is going to consider what I do to be the authority on the listing. But a lot of wholesale products do not have brand registry. And so if you're doing wholesale, even if you're doing like retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, a lot of times you can actually update the listing. Sometimes you might have to actually like message Amazon and say, hey, I need to update the listing. There's some stuff missing on this. Many times wholesale listings are missing a ton of information. They were probably created many, many years ago by people who didn't really know what they were doing. And the other thing is that most wholesalers, most people who sell wholesale don't think listing optimization. But if you have a wholesale product that's replenishable, meaning that you can get that product over and over and over again, even if you share the buy box, as one of my clients said it, pay it forward, optimize the listing, and all of you who are on the listing are going to get value from that.
I don't know if the chat is included in the recording, so I just wanted to repeat something that Jim Rutsky wrote. He said, I've been using Scope to get wholesale accounts, sharing keywords that their competition is converting. So he's using the output from your service, Scope, to convert as a value proposition when he approaches a wholesale company.
Yeah, I love learning new ways that you guys are using our tool. And so thank you for sharing. Karen wants to know, wouldn't you want to just create your own listing? So this is, Barb, we could probably have a great conversation about this. This is the difference between Amazon and eBay. And so Amazon is not going to let you just create your own listing unless you can actually differentiate the product. And so if you create a bundle, that's one way to differentiate the product. But you can't just have the exact same product as somebody else and create two different listings. Amazon will merge those two listings together. Amazon does not want the eBay style listings in their system. It's a different mentality of kind of how they go about doing things.
Let me give you an analogy. So if you ever get these catalogs in the mail, like Store Supply or Carol Wright or any mail order catalog, right? Every single page includes an individual, like there's 6 items, they're all different, and every page has a different 6 items, right? That's Amazon. Now that's what they want to be. Now what if you got a catalog that had a page with 6 of the exact same apple cores in the same color, 6 on the same page? That's what Amazon doesn't want. That's why you should not ever, besides it's against terms of service, to create a duplicate listing. If you know what, I don't believe in shortcuts or lottery ticket mentality. If you find an apple core and you see that there are related products, that this is how I create my bundles, that are complementary to that apple core. How about a back to school or first department kitchen survival kit? Now you put in an apple core and you put in 5 or 6 other, a pizza cutter, because what student doesn't like a pizza cutter, right? And you put together and you create a listing that's very unique based on what you've chosen to put in there, and you get your products from different suppliers, then you create a new listing. I don't know if you agree with me or not, Jeff, but I went off a little bit.
I wanted to see if anybody was doing that. And the value and the value of that, right? The value of what you're doing is that you're differentiating your product, but you're also driving your total dollar sale higher. So instead of being in the $7.99 range, you're creating a bundle that's $29, but you're getting 4 products that are all $7, $8 each, all baked into one. And then you can create your own listing. And I think one of the things Amazon has done to curb that is the barcode regulations that they have, right? And so they've created new rules around barcodes, and it's another whole story, and there's a lot of information you can Google on it to learn about it. But they've done that to kind of limit the ability for people to just create their own products and bundles and have duplicate listings. And so Amazon really does not want that. And ultimately, you need to treat Amazon the way Amazon wants to be treated. Otherwise, you're not going to have a very long-term sustainable business within the system. So hopefully that answers your question, Karen. Before we move on, are there any other questions about listing optimization? Because I'm going to kind of show you a little trick on how to use this same data to run sponsored product ads. All right, I don't see any other questions coming in. So of the people that are listening and chatting with us, how many of you, let us know if you are running sponsored product ads. So these are the ads that are on Amazon. You see them up here, sponsored ads. You see them over here on the side. So I have some I do from Dawn, Jim, yes. Elm, yes. Saul, yes. Karen, yes. Mario, yes. Great. So some of you are running them. Yeah.
And don't feel bad if you're not running them. I've tried running a couple last fourth quarter, and I found the system confusing, and then I sort of gave up on it and moved on to other stuff. I'll cycle back around, but don't feel bad if you're not running ads yet. It's just another skill set to learn.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I'm going to show you a little trick, and then this might be one of your new things you want to go play with. So this is how. So we just showed you kind of where ads show up, and ads are a great way for you pay for the click. You're trying to drive conversions. And so if you took like a PPC course or you listen to any of the people that are out there that train PPC, this is the model by which they most teach, right? You run in Amazon what's called an auto-targeted campaign. An auto-targeted campaign really needs to run for about 7 to 10 days to start getting what's called impression data. So impression data is how often your ad is showing up, and click data is how often somebody's clicking on your ad. The goal is to move good performing keywords out of your auto campaign and into what's called a manual campaign. And so a manual campaign is, it has 3 formats. One's called exact, one's called broad, and one's called phrase. And then you do this optimize and repeat process where you're constantly trying to find good keywords. The problem with Amazon's traditional model is that it actually costs money to experiment. And it takes time to actually get the right keywords. And you're literally waiting for Amazon to tell you what works and what doesn't work. Okay. And so is my audio bad, Barb?
Yeah, it's really sketchy. We can understand you though, so we're just going to keep going.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it's me because they can hear you fine. Okay, never mind. Forget it. It's just me.
Okay. All right. So we'll just, now it's telling me I'm unstable. It might be you. Okay. I'll keep going.
So I guess it's okay. Keep going.
Okay. So the traditional model is really waiting for Amazon. Amazon is using your money to test their system to tell you what works. And there's limitations, right? Because you have to pay to learn what is good. It actually takes time to get to the right keywords. And, it takes a long time because sales lag. And there's an inherent flaw in Amazon's PPC system in that you actually have a 48-hour delay between Amazon's PPC system telling you that a sale occurs, which is why it takes 7 to 10 days to run the initial campaign. But you can actually run this very quickly in scope. And so I'm going to walk you through this, and then I'm going to show you how this actually works. Okay. So I'm going to open up, let's see here. I'm going to close this, not save it. I'm going to open this back up. So I'm back in my original file. Okay. Same file. And again, I have a video on this, and I'm going to delete all this because at this point in time, I actually care about the phrases, right? So these are the phrases: apple slicer, apple core slicer. I'm going to take these keywords, phrases. I'm going to copy these. Now, mind you, I've done this before, so we might not get a ton of new results. I'm actually always amazed because if you do this about once a week, you get new results. I'm going to go back into my Amazon account, and this time I'm in what's called the Campaign Manager. And the Campaign Manager is where you manage ads. And I'm going to go into my ad group, and I've already kind of gone there before. And I'm going to paste these keywords into this field, okay? And I'm going to run what's called a phrase match just because I've been running a phrase match before. And I'm going to click Add These Keywords. And we're going to give it a second here. You can see I had 121 beforehand, and we'll see how many I end up with afterwards.
Well, that's a whole nother webinar, is you training us on how to do sponsored ads.
Yeah, and I think that I'm seeing one of the error that I'm getting here is probably because of Amazon's server issues they've had today. But what you'll see is that I actually take these keywords, I add them right in, and you can see I've done this before, and then I have my keywords. Now, what's different is that I know these keywords convert sales, and by knowing that these keywords convert sales, I'm actually starting off in a position with keywords, and I'm not waiting for Amazon to tell me what keywords I need. And so I'm actually able to drive what's called my advertising cost of sale. That's this number here. I'm actually able to drive that number down significantly by focusing on keywords that are actually more relevant to my product. And so that's really what Scope is able to do for you. It cuts out that 7 to 10 day period. It cuts out the extra money for you trying campaigns. And I would recommend, if you're like Barb and you've tried sponsored product ads before, to go back and try them again using your scope data, create a phrase or a broad match campaign, and don't run the auto-targeted campaign, because the auto-targeted campaign requires you to do a lot of manipulation to get that campaign correct. Do it with broad and with phrase match and see what happens. So let me show you a couple more things that Scope can do, because we didn't really kind of get into this. This is the actual web application of Scope. And I have the ability within Scope to what I call categorize my listings. So I can actually, I don't think this is a bike. I think this is an apple slicer. So I can do that. And then I can actually sort my listings to just see all my products that are apple slicers. I can see all of my keywords that I'm watching. I can go into my keywords if I want. This is the prep work product that I was looking at earlier. So I'm going to actually look at this in Scope now. So it's a lot of the same information we had before: the item summary, the Amazon fee calculator. I have the same price history that I had before, the sales rank history, but I also have like a monitor of review count and review history. And now I'm actually starting to look at all of the keywords. And so by looking at all of the keywords, I can actually see what keywords and the history of the keywords. And as I'm tracking keywords and I'm watching keywords over a period of time, I begin to see the history of that keyword related to that particular ASIN. So I can actually see that I used to rank really high for Apple Core Remover, and I've actually dropped off. And so what's really cool about this is that you can start watching some of your competitors' products, and you can actually see whether they're running promotions, because you'll see spikes in their sales and in their pricing, and you'll see spikes in their keyword position. So what I recommend for people to do, if I'm sourcing a new product, because the sourcing process, and this is like for private label, maybe even for wholesale, the minute I decide that that's a competitor's and start collecting my top 10 competitors and maybe, 10 to 20 keywords per product that I want to start watching, the really high volume ones, so that I can start tracking that history over time. Because as I watch a product, I get more granular data. So if I look at a keyword that I'm not watching, here's a product that I'm not watching, so I'm not getting data as regularly on this keyword. And so if I want data on this keyword more regularly, I start watching these keywords. And if I was to actually come back into here tomorrow, I would see all these keywords have data from the last couple of days. I'm going to start watching these every day. So that's another feature of Scope. We also have a product discovery panel, which allows you to do some product discovery. So you say like, okay, I want a product in home and garden. I'm looking for something that has a minimum of a maximum of 100 reviews, and I apply the filter, and it's going to give me results of products that are in home and garden with a maximum of 100 reviews. And then This is going to allow me to actually start breaking down this number of 168,000. So now I say, well, I want something that's between $19.99 and $29.99. Reapply that. And now I've brought down to 15,000. And now I can start looking at, are these products that I maybe want to start watching, or maybe that I want to start sourcing? Maybe I want to look for something with a maximum star rating of, let's go for 4.2, right? Because I actually want products that are not doing well, because I can improve on products. So now I have 8,200 results of products that have low star rankings. I can say that I want a sales rank of a maximum of, let's say, 5,000. That's a pretty good sales rank, 5,000. And now I'm down to 80 results. And so now maybe these are the 80 products that I want to start looking into to see if these are products that I want to start. I want to see the other competitiveness of this product to determine if these are products that I may or may not be interested in sourcing. And I can keep kind of breaking these numbers down if I want to, make that number even smaller. Or I want to, change the category. So you can use this for product discovery and then start watching the product, right? So I'm going to, mark this into here, and then I'm going to, I'm just kind of playing around here, but this is, my product. So now I'm going to come down, I'm going to look at the keywords. I'm going to, it doesn't actually have some, it looks like it's got pretty poor keywords. Furniture, it actually does really well for this. So I want to start watching that, start watching that, right? So I'm just going to start watching some of these, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to see how this product is doing after I let Scope collect a little bit more information. So that's kind of, and hopefully that gives you a little bit more information. I'm going to walk you through a couple case studies, and I'll be happy to answer more questions. So case study number one, I kind of talked about this. This was the seller who started seeing sales on his product because he updated his backend keywords. I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. Case study number two was a seller who was able to, they saw this concept of race to the bottom. So race to the bottom is, this concept of when you're sharing the buy box, and that's, in wholesale products. And she actually updated the listing. She got the product to its historical low, and low is good for BSR, within 2 hours of updating her listing. She actually was able to drive her competitor out of stock, which moved her up to take over the buy box. And so she's generating sales kind of for everybody. And then here's a customer who used this process. I passed the auto targeting. Typically you're going to see a 20 to 30% advertising cost of sale. He was seeing 3 to 10%. And so these tactics are working. And if you've had this tactic work for you, please share it in the chat group so we can, kind of share your success story. I know some of you have kind of shared them before. Ultimately, I think Barb said it best. Scope pays for itself. And I could probably just skip my example and use yours. And we really have two plans. We have what's called the essential plan and the startup. The biggest difference between our plans is how many items you watch, right? So how many items an Aysen or a keyword is considered a watch. So how many you watch. As we talked about, the base plan is 390, 690. But we're gonna have a better deal for you. Barb actually negotiated a better deal, but I decided to even come back with a better deal than what I originally told Barb.
Thank you.
If you order today, if you order today, we're going to give you $75 off of Scope. So we just launched Scope about a month ago, and we want to drive more users to this. Remember, this is for an annual plan. And here's what you get. You're going to get access to Scope. You're going to get access to all of the reverse ASIN data. You're going to get the ability to watch 300 or 400 keywords, depending on the plans. You're going to get access to what we call 17 days to Scope, which is the email series and videos that walk you through each of the tactics that were taught to you today. You're going to get access to Seller Labs' amazing customer service. I do have a lot of pride in our customer service team. And we're going to give you a 7-day, no question asked, money back return policy. So if you think to yourself, I don't know if I want to use this, I'm not really sure if I can figure this out, go ahead and give it a try. If it doesn't work for you, we'll be happy to refund your money. So hopefully that's a good enough offer to get you guys to try. If you go to sellerlabs.com/diva, that is where you'll see the link and you'll see the code. And I thank you for having me. I definitely want to answer some more of these questions. So if you sat through this webinar and you're with us an hour later, thank you. I'm curious. Are you interested in buying Scope? Is there something, something that's holding you back? Did you not get value out of what we shared?
Could I put my 22 cents in?
Yeah, you can try. You keep cutting out.
I invest in a lot of tools. And I try them out to the hilt I just try them out to the hilt. And some work really well and some don't work for me as well. But I invest in a lot of tools to test them out. A lot of times I'll invest in 3 or 4 different tools that do the same thing. And then I'll put together a matrix in Excel based on criteria to find out which one's going to, basically I review them, okay? So I know what tools cost in this industry because I buy them. So I did some numbers on this. I use 2 other programs, or used to use 2 other programs that for product discovery. I'm starting a private label. I do wholesale, so product discovery is huge for me, right? You guys all know what those tools cost, anywhere between $49 and $149 a month. That's just one small part of what Scope does. So I like running numbers. So here's the deal. With the 75% off for an entire 12 months, it's $317. I want everybody to reach into their pocket or their wallet right now and look for change, because that's 86 cents a day. Dramatic.
Yeah, but I just want to. You said 75. You said 75% off. Let's just make sure we clarify. It's 75.
I apologize. It's $300, $75 off. I apologize. But my point is, it's like $26 a month. 29, 26. I just sat here. 26, 25 a month. Okay, for a tool that does the keyword research, spying on your competitors, plus product discovery, which I didn't realize until tonight. That demo you just did. I didn't know that tab was there because I just bought your tool about 10 days ago, right?
Yeah,
and I haven't explored everything. I haven't even come close to exploring everything. So for $26 a month, guys, I mean $315 because you're blocking it in for the year, but it's 86 cents a day. Give up your Starbucks and you're ahead of the game. I'm just saying.
Well, ultimately,
that's my perspective. That's how I run numbers to see whether or not to.
So I appreciate that, and ultimately, I'm not a hard sales type of person, so I don't want to put a hard sale on it, but I do want to make sure we give value, and hopefully you got some really good value out of what I shared today. And I think that if you do spend the time to use the tool, listen, any tool that you buy can be useful and can be worth its weight in gold. If you don't use the tool, none of them are worthwhile. Okay. So you have to actually take action as the user. The tool doesn't do the work for you. So I'm going to read a couple questions here. Let's see. So Jim says, worth every penny. Thank you, Jim. Judy wants to know, can this be used on websites other than Amazon? So right now, this is only a tool for Amazon US. And so, and then Elm wants to know, can you please tell me the difference between Scope and Jungle Scout? I don't have Jungle Scout, but was thinking about it. Okay, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm friends with Greg Mercer. Greg runs Jungle Scout. Jungle Scout is a phenomenal product research tool, but it stops there. I don't remember how much Jungle Scout costs, but it's a one-time annual fee. And I don't have anything wrong with Jungle Scout. And a lot of people say to me like, oh, I used to have Jungle Scout. Should I get rid of it? If you already paid for Jungle Scout, it's a one-time fee. No, don't get rid of it. You already paid for it. I think that when you're doing product discovery, right? So when you're trying to find products to sell online, using multiple tools is worthwhile. And the reason why is that we all analyze our data in slightly different ways. And so using my tool and using Jungle Scout is going to give you a little bit of like, if my numbers are one and Jungle Scouts are something different, that's a red flag. Why are the numbers different? If the numbers are actually the same, then that's validation that like, here's two companies that have come up with the same numbers. So all of us use estimates. We write our own algorithms to come up with those estimates. We use science to get to those. So we have data scientists. I'm sure Jungle Scout does as well. So I wouldn't tell you that like ours is better than theirs or theirs is better than ours. But Scope goes one step further than Jungle Scout in that all of the data it provides with reverse Aysen lookup. And that's not available on Jungle Scout. So if you like the product research side and you also want the listing optimization and the keyword tracking and all of that to be kind of integrated into your tool, that's really where Jungle Scout kind of stops and Scope kind of takes over. And so that's kind of a lot of times why I tell people, go ahead and do both. Because I do believe that if you're going to spend a little bit of extra money, product research is where you should spend that money, because if you get it wrong in product research, it doesn't matter what you do afterwards. So that's really where you should spend your effort and your time. But I'm very confident that if you only use Scope, our data is very accurate and is very good. And so hopefully that, I'm not here to sell Jungle Scout, but I have nothing wrong with it. So I just think that our tool can do that as well. Jim says the keyword tracking alone is worth the cost. And so if you are actually using, so somebody has said, Dan is asking to explain what reverse Aysen lookup means. So that's a great question. So reverse Aysen lookup means that I'm going to use the Aysen. I'm going to show you this in here. I'm going to use the Aysen to tell me what keywords it's ranking for. And so I'm actually looking at the Aysen of the product, and this is the reverse Aysen lookup, these 409 keywords. Because the only other way to do this would be to actually go to the keyword and then look at all the products that are in here. And what you want to do with there are other tools that do reverse Aysen. None of them do them in Amazon in a Chrome app like we have. And so by being able to have this data at your fingertips while looking at your products and your competitors' products, you can actually take action immediately and not have to go through extra steps to get that. And we also don't put limitations on you. So you can see that in the paid version, all the terms that I'm not watching are still there. And any product that I pulled up in Amazon is there. So we don't limit the number of keywords that you can search. We don't limit the number of Aysens that you can search, the amount of information you can download. It's all kind of there for you. Let's see. Nick says he's going to be getting this. So I say thank you to Nick. Dan, glad we could answer your question. Nick wants to clarify, as someone who does not own the listing, I would have to ask Amazon to update the backend keywords. So Nick, I'm going to actually pass that to Barb to see if she knows the answer to that, because I really only deal with products that I own the listing on. So Barb, do you know the answer to that? Because I don't know specifically if you have to ask Amazon or if it depends on the actual listing.
So here's been my experience. When I found a listing that I needed optimized because it was hazmat when it wasn't supposed to be, the title was useless, but I could get the product at a really good price. I had a good relationship with the supplier. I submitted a request for changes, and the guy who owned the listing, Amazon passed those changes on, asking his permission to implement the changes. And then the owner of the listing, which means the person who created it, they have the ability to say yay or nay.
Yeah, but
no, but that's, as I understand it, that's how it's been working. What I would do is go to Seller Central Help and ask your question in there, because it doesn't matter what my experience was 6 months ago. Things change on Amazon, and whatever Seller Central Help says now is more valid than anything that I did 6 months ago.
Ain't that the truth?
Right?
Yeah. I'm going to see.
And then I also have actually reached out directly to Seller Central. It was a hazmat item that wasn't supposed to be hazmat, and I got the hazmat removed from it because I reached out to Seller Central and asked them. and they asked for a couple things. You know, I had to send a link to the listing on the wholesaler's website showing the ingredients, etc. But it is possible. You just got to do a little bit of work.
And I would also say that be patient, because you might ask one person at Amazon and get one answer, and ask another person at Amazon and get a different answer.
And try asking the same question at different times of the day. I like asking late at night, because the people who are customer support, where it's midnight my time, it's during the day their time, and they're a little bit less stressed. And I seem to get more positive responses from them.
So Nick, what I would say is that you can update the backend keywords. It's just a matter that that process might be different. Literally, it might be different for each ASIN depending on who owns that listing and how that listing is owned and managed. So there's not kind of a cut and dry answer like it is when you own the brand registry. And so we just don't want to lead you down the path of giving you an absolute when there's not an absolute.
Yeah, sir. It's just like we're lawyers, and the answer to everything begins with the words, "It depends." And that answer could change tomorrow depending on what Amazon does.
Yeah. So are there any other questions? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awesome and 1 being I just wasted an hour of my time, how do you rate my time sharing with you on this webinar? Please post in the chat, and then I'm going to ask Barb to pick. I don't know. This was fun. Let's give away three shirts. Oh, 5-star for me. What happened, Jim? We got to talk about that.
5-star for Jeff, Jim. Hey.
All right, Jim did not win a shirt, although I think Jim already had one.
Okay. So for anybody who's not saying,
he's going Amazon. He's going Amazon 5-star. Okay.
Oh, and for anybody who didn't say 10, that's okay. What I want you to do is message me on Facebook and tell me, ask me whatever questions you didn't get answered, and I'll do my best to get them answered for you. How's that? I want everybody to get the most value they can.
And Nick, I do speak fast, and Barb was right that I do these presentations so many times that it's kind of old hat. It's kind of old hat for me, and so I appreciate that suggestion. And it's something that was actually taught to me in high school in public speaking, that you have to really slow down, because no matter how fast you think you're speaking, you speak faster when you're actually doing it. So thanks for the reminder. I don't take offense to that.
I do suffer from the same affliction, so sorry. So winner number 1, drum roll please, because she was the first on the webinar and said hello. We're going to give a t-shirt to Ada. Ada, raise your hand if you're still on here. Oh, you have to be still on here to get the t-shirt. I'm just saying. Got to still be on here. Reza, Ada, are you on here? I got to scroll down here because I'm scrolling up. I
see her on the list. She might have turned us on and walked away though.
Oh, Ada. Oh, no. You got to be here, kids. Got to be here. Okay. So I'm going to scroll up and randomly just hit a button here. And Nick Spicer. Oh, a little too fast for me. That's the one I stopped on. All right, Nick. You got a t-shirt. You're still on here, right?
Yeah, all right. Nick just commented.
Yay! All right. All right. We're going to give 2 more away because we only gave 1 away. I'm going to scroll up randomly and wait until my mouse stops. Dawn Sylce, S-Y-L-C-E. Dawn, are you here? Did she comment here? Dawn, you are the winner of what does your t-shirt say again? I'm famous on Amazon?
It says famous on Amazon, yeah.
I love it. That's pretty cool. Dan, all right. So we got 1 more. I'm going to scroll up. Scroll. Stop randomly. And I got Elmi. I love that name, Elmi. Are you still here, Elm? Tell me you're still here. Let's say something in the chat. All right. You're wearing that to TWF Live. I won't be there. I'll be in Hong Kong. Aw, bummer, right? Okay, cool. So we have our winners. I hope somebody wrote those down.
I did. I got them.
Elmi and Dawn.
So Dawn, Nick, and Elm, if you guys can find me on Facebook or just communicate with Barb and get me your address, I will get you a shirt. And so if you don't mind, can I plug our Seller Labs user group, Facebook group? Is that okay?
Absolutely. And I'll put it in the chat while you're plugging it. How's that?
Yeah, so this is our Seller Labs group. If you're on Facebook, that's the Seller Labs group on Facebook. And so you can also kind of connect with me there if you are looking for me. I'm happy to answer more questions. I'm happy to share and be happy to, come back on and share with you guys some more stuff in the future.
Awesome. So excited. Let me see if I can get rid of the screen that I just shared. I'm trying to unshare now. Help. Okay, I lost y'all. There you are. There we go. Stop share. Yeah, I'm a newbie in Zoom. So anyway, thank you, everybody. I know everybody really wanted to see the political speech going on tonight. So thank you very much for instead coming in and seeing us cool folks. Again, my name is Barbara Drazga, a.k.a. The Deal Diva. And if anybody knows how I can get this on a wine glass, I would pay good money for that wine glass, so please tell me if you know print on demand for wine glasses. Here tonight with Jeff Cohen from Seller Labs talking about the keyword research tool and beyond scope Go join his group, Seller Labs. Go check out, let's put in the URL one more time, Nick, for sellerlabs.com/diva. Boom, go save $75 off of this scope tool. Message me on Facebook letting me know that you got this sucker, and we'll learn together, because I'm learning, I'm going through it, and I'm so excited about just optimizing for my listing. Yay! So thank you all very much for being here tonight. You guys are wonderful that you spent time with us this evening, and we will see you soon. I'll post a recording on the Deal Diva Facebook group, so watch for it. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Bye.